In this video, we're going to show you how to install the front driveshaft CV rebuild kit on your Dodge Ram, located right here on your driveshaft. You want to go ahead and remove these 4 bolts securing the flange to the front differential. Now, if you're going to be replacing your original driveshaft, you want to go ahead and mark this here. That way there, when you install the driveshaft, it's in the same location on the flange. That is very important. In our case, we're replacing the entire driveshaft, so it is not that critical for us. Using a 15mm, remove the 4 bolts. Now, removing the last bolt, be careful, the driveshaft can separate. You might have to pull it back a little bit to separate it from the flange, but just be aware. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my dead blow hammer here. Pop that off like so. And at this point here, I want to go ahead and wiggle the shaft off the spline, off of the transfer case. Now right here, you have a band. We're going to go ahead and use our cutters. And we simply want to go ahead and remove this band. These are a one-time use, so you can simply go ahead and discard that. Now on the back here, this unit is going to separate from the front of the CV unit. I want to go ahead and put this CV part in a vise. With that held in place, we're going to use our chisel and we're going to try and knock this cap off with the seal. I just went ahead and I used the chisel to put a little split in the cap. Just work your way around. You can see it starting to come off. Now with this boot removed, I'm going to go ahead and take this . Now we're going to put this in the vise, but we don't want to make it so tight that we crush the drive shaft. Make sure that it's in there solid. Now we're going to use our hammer. We're going to try and hit down on this side here to try and pop this off of the drive shaft. So at this point here, we're having a hard time getting the CV end off here. So what we're going to have to do is work on removing the CV end, removing the ball bearings, take it down to the carrier. Then we'll go ahead and work on removing the carrier unit off of the splines. Now right inside of our groove here, we have a snap ring. I'm going to use a small punch here and just kind of work that out and around. Good, snap off the old snap ring there. So this part right here is the one that was giving us the problem. This was the snap ring, and this side was the side of it that was binding up on the splines, forcing us to take alternative options to remove that carrier unit. I want to go ahead and clean the splines and just kind of soak this down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a thin coat of grease right around the end here. And we're going to go ahead and slide our snap ring over the end and into that groove. Here, and feel it snap into place. Going to install your band clamp on the end right here. Just let it sit there. Go ahead and work this on. I'm going to use a supplied grease tube here. I want to go ahead and work this into the bearings on the CV unit itself. Now you want to get this grease into the bearings themselves and the carrier unit, not as much the splines. I'm going to take some of this grease here that's left in here. I want to go ahead and take this unit. We're going to slide this over onto the splines. And we're going to use our dead blow hammer and we're going to tap this on. Now at this point here, our CV is in position. It gives us the ability to go ahead and move this around. I'm going to go ahead and continue to pack that grease into the bearings, rotating this around. Can wipe off the excess around the outer perimeter here. Now at this point here, we could probably take this out of the vise. Take this out. I'm going to stand this up. I want to go ahead and tap on this here to get that to seat onto the unit. I'm going to continue to do this, rotating it and tapping on until the seal is fully seated. Now you want to take the band here, and I'm going to grab the end of it with a pair of cutters. You can use pliers. What you want to do is take up the slack to tighten that down. Now if you happen to have this tool, this is used to tighten up that band. I'm going to go ahead and fold this over. I'm going to tap that down. Going to bend over these tabs. Maybe use a little punch to get that over. You can snip off the excess of that band. Now this is completed, we can now go ahead and get this back installed on the vehicle. Go ahead and line up our drive shaft. Go ahead and slide that on the splines and in. Then we can go ahead and push our drive shaft up and made up to the flange for the differential. I'm going to go ahead and line that flange up, get our bolt holes lined up. I did go ahead and install some blue Loctite on these threads. And go ahead and get all 4 of the bolts started by hand. Once they're all started, come back around and tighten them down. Now we can go ahead and snug these down. Now we're going to go ahead and torque these bolts down to 85 foot-pounds. We're going to go ahead and use our pry bar on the side of the flange here and tighten these down. Once you're all torqued, you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.